It's Tuesday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Murayo Afolabi Brown. As always, I have the ladies with me. Wait, get in the building. How you doing?
Before I banter, I must hear Nima is in the building. Yo. I beg, top loco. We have missed you. We have missed
Your special invitation.
Welcome.
I must hear you, my own.
People too.
Oh, name.
You know something? It was funny watching
back.
the show from home.
Can you imagine? You have rested. You
It's
are
not
back
more
home.
interesting.
All that rest, forget about it. I'm going to. It's not my turn.
Okay, you're not going
It's
anywhere.
my turn to
It's
rest.
How you doing, YK?
I'm fine. My banter is this. Because all of you shouting for the police, we need
Local
what do you call
police.
it? Local police and this. The police that you have not looked after them. I want us to remember that one. I got a text from a police guy at the weekend saying he's been in the police for 22 years. He wants to leave because he has not gained anything in the police. And he's just 22 years of his life.
To serve the country.
Can we please start doing that? Because if we don't give them their dues and they can all own houses, and so that even when they retire, they have house, they don't have to think of rent, the corruption will continue.
We're not really fighting anything.
We're not fighting anything.
Right.
So I beg. I'm not police advocating for police. I'm just saying this is really, really.
Humane, the right thing. to do.
They need to
nature
improve on
of
their
the-
welfare.
Structure.
Their retirement benefits. I know one that has retired. He still calls me begging me for money. Come on. Is that how it should be? It shouldn't be like that. So of course they're going to be looking for their own selfish interests. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Nima. How are you?
I'm fine. I feel that we work here about the police, especially except you get to a certain level.
Yeah.
You need to vie as much as possible to get promoted, and it's a busy place to be. Some of them cannot get to go back to school to get more qualifications or certifications to get them those promotions, and so there must be a structure that ensures that their minds are rested, looking towards retirement. You don't want to start to grapple for anything or steal, and that's where we have left them.
Yeah. It's the
The
same
other
thing
day-
with the customs, immigration, all of
of
the
them.
government agencies.
So some people, they are juicy offices you can take care of yourself, but we shouldn't
Nima,
allow
I want
it.
to hear gist. That was your
How you
waka going back
doing?
home yesterday. What happened what was the response to fans
Let me
when
come
you
to you.
arrived
How
back?
you doing, Sopwe?
I am very, very good though. They finished all the banter. Me, I am excited to switch off my phone. From 2 p.m. today, I am unavailable.
Why, what's going
My
on?
alert is still available. I'm taking a mental break. My husband said, if you can survive 24 hours without social media, I will really be
wow.
impressed. So I said that I would be offline for...
Really?
Yes, I'm going to be offline for... My business line will be switched off, but I beg, if you send messages, my account is still open. We are still selling land, we're still selling houses. It's just that I will not be personally available. I need a mental break. So I'm going to go and pray.
I'll send you a few messages throughout and see if you want.
No, I'm not going to be online. I'm actually switching off. I'm switching off.
Me, I can do that
from 2
easily.
p.m. today. I don't find it easy to do. I'm so working.
I can do that easily too.
I have over 300 WhatsApp messages that I've
Auntie Annie, I have just 4. I read every WhatsApp message because somebody can be saying, send account number.
But you said I should say something exciting. So yesterday, the Senator Lagos West, former Deputy Governor Senator Adebule, gave a scholarship to the 5.0 GPA girl, and I was there.
Oh.
That's
So
fantastic.
she had mentioned it. She had called me and said, "Do you know this girl?" I said, "You know her." I said, "I want to see her." And then she had this dated, check for her since June.
Wow.
So I was just so
goodness.
happy for Amina, and I must commend the senator for what she keeps doing.
Just in the right time when you were resuming. What a good way to welcome you back.
Okay, let's
Right.
go on a quick break. When we return, look at the
Why
front
do we
pages
keep
of the
taking
papers.
your
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We're going to start with the nation. Mixed fortunes for APC, PDP, Labour at tribunals. Accounting icon Akintola Williams dies at 104. 11 feared killed in Plateau. UAE lifts visa restriction on Nigerian travelers. Zenith Bank makes 967 billion naira half-year gross earnings. Federal varsities to get full financial autonomy. And Edo relocates Shuebu's office outside government house. Okay, which story are we starting with?
Trending story yesterday. Of course, the UAE ban that lifted. YK took it.
I have it.
I guess
So I left it. And commendably, we saw leadership play out. Remember the ban, the way they treated us as if...
Yes.
But when the president showed up, it was an immediate lifting of the ban, and that, for me, is
Leadership.
highly commendable. The spokesperson of the president was saying, this means that flights going in and out, and, the Emirates flight airlines,
And Etihad.
they'll be able to resume inbound and, outbound flights in Nigeria as well without delay.
Governors cannot, it's not rocket science anyway.
So, the Edo State Deputy Governor, Philip Shaibu, and his aides have been relocated to
In the backyards.
they have been to number 7 Dennis Osadebe Avenue, GRA. It has a green front.
Very beautiful environment.
It's actually a nice, very nice house.
It is, so.
And the newly renovated building has the deputy governor's inscription, and it's not too far from the government's house. It's seen at the entrance of the one-story building is an inauguration plaque with the inscription Edo State Public Procurement Agency. This building was actually commissioned by the Edo State former governor, is now Senator Adams Oshemole, and the Philip Shaibu has actually withdrawn his suit. This came on the heels of him withdrawing his suit against the governor, saying the governor was trying to impeach him. And he says, I sincerely wish to thank and appreciate well-meaning Nigerians, party leaders, traditional rulers, and my Archbishop and His Grace, Most Reverend Dr. Augustus Akubeze, for their kind words, advice, and encouragement thus far, and ensuring peace and unity in our dear state, Edo. I also wish to record my special thanks to my governor, my boss, and senior brother for this path.
Okay, it's not sounding like that to me. It's sounding like the landlord have evicted the tenant. Because
No, I'm saying what he...
this
one is
nation say,
Can I move on?
following the orders of the governor, even though he had withdrawn his suit at the Federal High Court.
I actually
landlord.
watched his brother, the governor's brother.
Yes.
That one too speaks big English like governor.
Okay. Federal versus I proposed new creative means of funding tertiary institutions. So we have the Education Minister, Tahir Mamman, was saying yesterday that the president had expressed the need to allocate 25% of the budget to raise, to raise the education budget by 25%. He also said that they are also allowing tertiary institutions to have financial autonomy. What that means is that the president is determined, among others, to initiate a new creative means of funding tertiary institutions by granting universities to explore new sources of financing their activities. So if a university can actually begin to look for both local and international funding to help support the activity of the university, which is a good thing, because it means that once you have autonomy, you can find money. So
You can negotiate.
You can negotiate and be as resourceful as you can, because if you have the means to get support from different parts of the world, that's a good thing.
There's enough money hanging around the universities if they are given the free will to be able to negotiate and sort that out. Good news for those that are living in Sokoto State, actually a few places around the north. The Vice President Shetima was ahead of the distribution of 11 billion worth vehicles that was being distributed by the Sokoto state government. He also kicked off the distribution of 5 billion naira worth of assorted grains as palliatives to the poor and vulnerable people in the state. He said that the federal government would also be doing their own, would also be coming with more palliatives to help cushion the burden that has come on general economic hardship based on the removal of fuel subsidy. But he also spoke up, he was appreciated by the governor of Sokoto State, Ahmed Aliyu, because he showed up. He said that, he spoke extensively about the fact that the grains will be distributed across 23 local government areas of the state, and according to him, beneficiaries will be non-partisan. It will not be based on whether they have political affiliations or anything. Also, Borno State Governor Babagana Zulum yesterday also unveiled 70 buses for metro transportation to ease movement of civil servants across the state from their places of work. Then he said another initiative to ease the burden on people based on removal of fuel subsidy. Different states actually are, within the north, are unveiling different things that they're doing, but the newspaper Nation carried what Zulum is doing in Borno, which is the 70 buses available, and what Governor Ahmed Aliyu is doing in Sokoto that had the vice president present. Also, the Nasarawa state governor has released payment of palliatives to people, 10,000, 5,000 naira to civil servants and pensioners within the state. So 10,000 to civil servants, 5,000 naira to pensioners within the state to cushion the burden of subsidy removal. So we're seeing how the state government, some states are spending their money. We'd like to see more states do a press release to cover how they are spending their money as well, so that some other state citizens will not be getting jealous of how money is getting to some people and not coming to them.
Right.
Yeah.
Let me move on quickly now to the Punch. Tinubu special investigator falls CBN audited reports. Obasanjo, governors mourn as doyen of accounting Williams, dies at 104. Court remands jealous lover for killing girlfriend. 2.9 billion naira fraud, Jonathan's godson, 2 others jail 6 years. Corruption, biggest hindrance to Nigeria's democratic development, says Global Report. Pengassin reacts as Dangote refinery misses production deadline. Morocco, earthquake, death toll hits 2,700. And operators excited as UAE lifts the visa ban on Nigerians. Let me start with the major headlines. So if you remember, our president had appointed a special investigator to actually go and investigate CBN. According to, if you recall, they're supposed to investigate CBN and related entities using their experience, competence, and capable team to work with relevant security and anti-corruption agencies to deliver on the assignment the president gave them. So looking at all the discrepancies in CBN. However, the special investigator has now said that CBN would have to withdraw their 7-year financial accounts because of irregularities, discrepancies that were discovered in the I think it's 2016 to 2022. So that period, there were lots of discrepancies and lots of irregularities in the financial accounts. So CBN would have to withdraw it officially and then probably give them something better, because the special investigator, this is a man, I can't remember, Obazi, I believe, he was personally appointed by the president himself to specially investigate CBN and all their financial activities in the past few years. So we'll see how that goes. But I mean, there are a lot of stakeholders that are jittery because of this, but we'll see how that. Let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we continue with our review. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still reviewing Punch. Who has a story, YK? The human interest story.
I have the human interest story. The court remands a jealous lover for killing his girlfriend. Apparently, his name is Samuel Adeni. His girlfriend, he killed her because she was cheating. According to him, he felt she was cheating. She was the nanny in the house. She left the nanny at home and went out to buy a recharge card, and she was gone for hours. And when he came back, where did you go? And she was like, I went to go and buy a recharge card. He just, in his annoyance, he just took sledgehammer. Hey, come! I'm telling you.
Sledgehammer.
Knocked her head. The people that they were working for rushed her to the hospital, but she was dead already.
Oh.
And him, he fled, but they found him, and he's...
Even if she was cheating.
See, you deal with those things as children. I know what I'm facing with my children. My children to react in anger, and I am forcing them that you must control. You cannot lash out, because that's what will make an adult use a sledgehammer on another human being. They cannot control themselves.
It's just a fit of anger, and he has destroyed his life, destroyed her life.
And that story, in Punch?
And ended her own.
I have the Morocco earthquake. According to the Punch, death toll has risen to 2,700, but rescuers are actively working. But one thing that is working against them, according to the report is, the structure of the traditional mud brick structure that they use in building houses there. And most of the houses, of course, immediately they cave in, they bury and destroy and kill the...
Like our cement and everything,
Yes.
right?
So it's heavier. There are no what's it called? Iron in between those bricks when they use them for building. So it's just heartbreaking. But good news is that Spain, Qatar, and Britain are joining to help them to rescue more people. So I'm hoping that some more people will be found alive. Because it looks bleak. The story recounts reports of those found dead from ages 7 upwards, and it's just heartbreaking.
Yeah.
That is with them right now.
Okay, and that's
So, yeah, there was a report, a global report carried out by, the report is titled Open Barometer. It is by a non-governmental organization called Open Society Foundation, and it says that democracy remains the most popular form of government, that globally 86% of respondents in the survey wanted to live within a democratic place. They did a survey sampling 36,000 people from 30 countries, and the survey was carried out over a 3-month period, and they were trying to grade how people's response will be to various questions, check people across developed and underdeveloped and developing countries, from France to UK to Nigeria to Senegal to Sri Lanka, Tunisia, Turkey, all the different countries. And some of the things that the report revealed was that 86% of respondents prefer democracy to authoritarianism. And they also feel like they want to be in a country where they have freedom to express themselves. They want independent institutions. They want the minority to be protected. They want the judiciary to be supported. And they also wanted, they said that when they checked response from Nigerians, 92% of Nigerian respondents said they wanted to be able to live in a country that was democratically governed. But they also felt like they wanted a government that was dealing with corruption, dealing with human rights challenges and poverty and inequality.
All right, moving on now to Vanguard, federalism as grassroots. 17 states run 323 local governments with caretaker committees. Brain drain, some departments in teaching, hospitals shutting down. Midcan raises alarm. FG wants to introduce new taxes, says presidential committee. Foreign rescuers join Morocco. Earthquake raised as death toll hits 2,862. Funding, federal government will grant varsities full autonomy, says minister. Datkem Plaza demolition, no one is above the law in Ogun, says Abiodun. And Doyen of accounting, Akintola Williams, dies as 104. Okay, let me take the tack. You want to take a story first?
Major headline.
Major headline, go ahead, please.
So sad, because, we talk about democracy as if it were us, we would do the right thing. So we have about 17 states right now in the country that have over 323 local governments running caretaker committee, and they renew every 6 months.
They didn't do a proper election.
They don't do elections. They don't know that, that is a different arm of government that should be autonomous and independent of the state government. From state governors sacking, suspending chairmen within local governments and doing
like
investigation, anti-graft work for EFCC on the local government. Such frivolous excuses just to remove them and put people that, they appoint into office. We have, worst case, the state of Anambra State. For over 10 years, since 2014, they have not elected any local government chairman in Anambra State. They've been running caretaker committees.
Wow.
And the matter has gone before the Supreme Court. They've said that governors lack power to sack elected council officials.
So they don't want them elected.
It's continuing. Borno State, they had an election in 2017, but sadly, Boko Haram could not allow the transition in happen. So the governor is still appointing caretaker committees. And Imo State,
those are the kind of things we need to
annoyingly.
Exactly.
It's a major hot topic. I'm sure
it has to be a hot topic. It has to be a hot topic. Let me take the taxes. So remember our friend Mr. Taiwo Idili, who comes to YourView often. He, as you recall, he's the chairman of the presidential committee on the tax reform. So he was saying that chairman of the presidential committee on fiscal policy and tax reform. Let me just get that right. So he was saying specifically, he was actually on Twitter yesterday, and he was just responding to various questions, and he was reminding Nigerians that the federal government doesn't plan to have additional taxes. What they're trying to do is harmonize all the agencies which are already backed by law to collect taxes, and have one singular agency which is responsible for collecting taxes. So we don't have multiple people calling you for different taxes. He said that many of the agencies would rather actually focus on their primary function, not about collecting money. So they would rather harmonize that. Also, he clarified that while the committee did not intend to introduce new taxes, also they didn't want to impose higher taxes on Nigerians. Their mandate, however, is to reduce the number of taxes and levies while harmonizing revenue collection to reduce the burden on people and businesses. So that was, and I like that he's talking to people on Twitter back and forth, because you need to clarify.
Engage.
You need to engage as the committees having their meetings, engage Nigerians on what you're doing. So we know, because remember they told the president 3 months, they'll give the initial reports on what the
And
plans.
they're implementing as they are going.
Yeah, so
I love
we'll wait
the
for him to
soundbite.
So I wanted to take the Medical Association, Medical and Dental Consultants Association of Nigeria, MIDCAM, have raised alarm over the consequences of brain drain. He said some of the nation's health institutions are shutting down because of the high rate of brain drain. He said his name is Professor Mohammed. He was briefing newsmen yesterday. He said, this was in Kano. He said, no fewer than 500 doctors with specialty in teaching have migrated. So that's the professors just
Professors,
really,
so we cannot even train doctors anymore.
that's what he's saying.
We can't train
Said,
doctors.
According to the survey we conducted some 2 years ago, shows about 500 specialist doctors have left Nigeria. They are the ones that are involved in teaching and nurturing of new generation doctors from both medical schools and training specialists in Nigeria.
The sad part is, he said that some departments are shutting down. So some specialties, some universities don't have enough doctors. He said what 10 people should do, only one person is, they have just 2 lecturers that can handle it. And that in some, that the quality of doctors we're losing now, in 10 years, we have not recovered.
Yes.
And we're talking about teaching doctors. These are at the highest level. So if the governor is they're asking the government to step up, because this is not a case of let them go. If the students are going, fresh graduates are going, doctors are going, now your teachers and lecturers, medical lecturers are going, what would you have left as a nation? It is an emergency.
At Igbobi. So a neighbor had an accident on Sunday and she lost a leg. She was rushed to the Igbobi hospital, and response was the slowest.
Because there's nobody on
Sadly, I just whispered to somebody, it might be the lack of doctors, because, you know, it's like a monopoly in itself. In the whole of West Africa, how many orthopedic hospitals do you have of that standard? So when you get there, you are waiting, you know there's a problem, there's a vacuum. So we need them to really test the situation as it is and react accordingly. Let's stop making empty. The last Minister for Labour was saying they can go. It's not like that. What we have now is an empty structure at Igbobi and not enough doctors, equipped with that knowledge.
And then the ones in the private hospitals, their own is just about money.
Money, serious.
They're not about the good.
Yeah, they got to buy the equipment, so you have to look at it.
But if they were giving you commensurate service to the money that they are collecting,
No matter.
Okay, our final paper, the Nigerian Tribune. Let's find a story we've not taken. I think we've taken most of the story. FG orders probe of prosecution of killers of the 4-year female student. That was a really, really painful story of the young girl that was killed. Court orders Ogun government to maintain status quo on Daniel's property. Zenith Bank defies odds with triple-digit surge in H1 2023. UBA Foundation launches 2023 National Essay Competition. And Obasanjo, Atiku, Sanwo-Olu, others mourn as Akintola Williams 104.
Are you taking Akintola Williams?
Yeah, I was going to take that. The doing of accounting professor and the profession, Pa Akintola Williams, many of you know, passed on at the age of 105. He lived a very, very fruitful and a great life. And the president, amongst others, former President Atiku, Obasanjo, and even Governor of Lagos State have all sent in their condolences. And I mean, I'm just grateful that this is a man that is one of the oldest.
Yes, he lived well. He is the face of
statesman that we've had in a very long time. And I'm really happy.
My heart goes out to his family. I know that even though everybody outside will feel like, oh, he lived long, he's 104, but still,
yes,
they would mourn.
His children are about 70-something.
But he lived long.
But
His children are old.
He lived long.
But they will still mourn.
He's 5 years older than Momo.
My cousin is his nephew, so I sent him a text where I was sorry about your uncle. So I said, did he smoke and drink? Because 104. Said, no, he didn't smoke, but he drank. I said, so I have hope.
Oh, God.
We have to run. That's all we can take. Like, you better find a way to stop.
Consoling yourself.
You better stop.
Hold
this
your
champagne.
peace.
Champagne.
Hold your peace.
Okay, oh, this is where.
Let peace be held on this set.
Let's also go on a break and return. We go to the hot topic of the day. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. All right, so many students resumed school yesterday, and many parents are really complaining about the cost of school fees, uniforms, school books, especially almost every single school had reviewed their prices. What are your thoughts on this? Because many would say the school is a business, and it's only a cost reflective of what society or the economy is making available for them. However, the fact that many actually doubled in their school fees, or the increase was quite astronomical, is what many parents are complaining about. If you're going to increase maybe the 10, 15%, some had a 50%, 60%, 70%, and some 100% increase. What are your views on this? You can call us on the numbers on your screen, 081 7647 1679 090 63440. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweets. I know, like, you don't have any kids in school these days, but let me come to talk about it because you have two that went into secondary school.
Yeah.
And it's not been easy.
So I'm so grateful to God that I did not allow myself to bow to societal pressure of I want to be among. We wrote, my kids got into secondary school this term and this session, and we wrote just 2 exams apart from the general common entrance. And when we wrote the 2 exams, there were 2 schools, and the school fees was, one school fees was ×3 of another one. And I made my findings. Yes, the expensive school was glamorous, was everything, and it would look really nice for my children to go to that school. But I looked at the reality of my pocket, not the one I'm hoping that God would do, but the current pocket I have. And I looked at the school that was more affordable, and I said, I would rather we go with this. And I had to fight my husband to insist that we went with the more affordable school. And I'm grateful that we did that. I think that it's a tough decision. And you know, 2 families that withdrew their children from the school they were in into another school. And they were not poor parents, but they looked at the reality of having to pay sustainability and change the schools of their children. So I am of the opinion that the school fees increase was not arbitrary. It was a shock to us, but it wasn't arbitrary because the reality of the market space that everyone is playing in, the reality of the teachers that the school has to increase school fees to meet their needs, transportation costs, feeding, the fact that many schools run on generator, the cost of living has gone up, and so the cost of school fees cannot be marginal in increase. And so for me, I feel that it is a case of human beings, you and I, cut your coat according to your material. Don't lament about the fact that somebody's coat is big.
Yeah.
You cut your own coat. That's where I stand.
So I agree with you because a lot of times people say, oh, this arbitrary increase. But the truth is that we don't really try to take a step back. Like every single thing, generator fuel is there. Teachers' fees, the teachers too would be paid salaries based on this new increment. Because I had to review a few salaries also, understanding that, listen, times are different, you know. So let me come to you, Nima. I know you also had to have, you have to face
secondary school.
It was a tough decision because I had a school in mind. In fact, I must shout out to schools that, you know, are considerate. Even though they give a standard of education that, you know, is very high, they are considerate in their pricing. And you know me, I'm very meticulous market woman mentality. I work hard this thing long before I started scouting for secondary schools within that range and the quality of education when my daughter was in primary 3.
Wow.
And I remember Miriam saying, come on, no, let her even get to final class. I said, I don't want to rush. See what happened. I couldn't even physically go to any of the schools eventually, but I already had the school. And then my husband did the maths and said, this your idea of having your kids in the house might not necessarily work, because I'm always physically going back and forth. So we had to do another tight decision. And the school that they used to go, what they did is every single thing, put another extra amount on it. I have a business that runs everything on generator. The first thing I did, although it was my husband's idea and his initiative, when the price of fuel went up, was to convert everything to gas. So our generators are all running on gas, even the one in the house.
Wow.
We found the guy immediately. You know that kind of thing, when you have a need, we don't find the person to come and convert everything to gas. And with service, we do the same thing. So we are running at a lowered cost. We're rendering services. So why are you as a school just thinking, let me just get more money from these parents? Sometimes there are needs that they are also seeing. You don't need to put there are some costs that you must go up. Some administrative costs, maybe because you run fuel and the buses, some things must go up. But other things don't need to go up. The price of books, you just label, put 10,000 on everything, not considering what it will total into for a parent.
Right.
Sometimes these school admins, they need to sit up and do better, because we know that there's a possibility of reducing those costs.
Or the fact that they even had the books in the warehouse before the increment happened.
Yes, they do. So, they even have the relationship with the book sellers, and they can also say, okay, just not that extremely high amount, but give us a consideration. You can do that and let parents know about it. The one that I cannot understand is if you as a school, for instance, offer a bus service that fails all the time, and you're still telling a parent every time to change that situation is put extra money. Last time, my kids from my house to school was 65,000 for transportation per child. Per child. And this year, they added something to it, almost close to 100. You know, I'm telling you, from my house to school. And it's the same journey I drive. It's the same fuel I use. And I'm like, wake up now. They want, sometimes when you do these things, parents can't relate. Because what Tokwa was saying, it's not all costs.
No, the only thing I need to ask these schools, as you are increasing the fees, are you increasing the school fees, the teachers'
salaries?
Because all the teachers are beggars. They will be begging parents.
They are not growing.
They will be doing private lesson for extra funds. That means that they're not being paid well in school. So when you are increasing your fees, are you increasing the salary of teachers?
Sometimes, I was going to come to what Tokwe said earlier, because my daughter was going to the same school that you had to discuss. When my daughter resumed, everybody going, Makotikwe is Makotikwe. They kept asking of Tokwe,
No, but they even sent me a message.
No, two parents knew. So they
okay.
came to me that they were expecting to see Tokwe. I said, no, they decided to pick another school. But you see, it was a very difficult decision, even for me as my own family. Because I only had one, you had two kids. I had one child going to that school. My husband, even just last week, he said, Mariel, this year's school fees, as in, it shook me.
Yes.
Because he had to pay for the secondary school and then 3 others. So I knew that it wasn't easy. And the only rationale, the only reason, because he was also contemplating us changing the school. We actually did about 3 different schools, and she passed all 3. And there was another one she went there. He was saying, like, Mariel, I think she should move out from this. Let's go to this school. And the only reason why I said that he agreed was because we're hoping that this our current school would have their own secondary school next year. Everybody would just move there. Because the truth is that it's expensive. We have to just really rationalize it. It doesn't make any sense.
And in providing resources for people, there are things that are extremely, when you consider school fees. I had a conversation with someone who has raised, I'll talk to someone like YK, I'll talk to someone that had raised children through secondary school into university, to have a conversation as what is the most important. And all I've always heard is the time you spend with your children. It's not about the school. It's about how you monitor your child. Absolutely. It's about the time you invest with that child. So I know that it was more important for me to not just work hard, because if I increased my school fees burden, I'll feel the need to work harder. And that means I'm spending more time out of home and less time with them, which is what they really need. And many parents right now are making that tough decision of prioritizing expensive school over spending more time with their children. It is not a wise decision.
In addition to that, even the primary school that we spend so much money on, it's not necessary. Really, I mean, even school in general, really, because I realized that when you grow, as you're growing older, your long-time friends, usually you meet them sometimes in a few in primary school, but secondary school, you start to formulate more friendship, and then university. Nursery, primary school, primary school is very, very difficult. Because when we're having issues with primary school, I was like, wait, this thing is not, don't let us spend.
It's not this deep.
Yeah, it's not that deep. Because there was a school that we wanted to go, but after, I think it was Uwa that now told us to go to your own school. Because we're in a different school, it was very expensive. A few of our small circles say, let us carry our children to this school now. When Brown saw the number, I said, lie, never. I would rather them. So we delayed Gabriel's entrance into school. Until we find a school, until he enters this school, we're not going anywhere.
You have even touched a serious point. So some parents are in a hurry to put a 2-year-old in school. If your work no carry you come off for house, why do you sit at home and send the child to school? My Miriam is doing it, and the boy is learning at home, homeschooling.
Yeah.
And he's doing amazing.
Most people homeschool till 5. Auntie Annie?
I was going to tell you, my brother's kids, you know, his older kids, they're 16 and 15. One of them, the two boys, their school, they even increased their own fees last year. They changed management, they did all this Fertility, Oyibos have taken over everything, changed the name of the school. When they entered school last September, not this September, when they entered, for one, there was only one student.
Everybody left the school.
Yes, now.
It happened.
Everybody the only student was the owner of the schools.
Let me take Yinka. Good morning, Yinka. Thanks for calling. Good morning, Yinka. You're calling from the UK. Hello, Yinka. Oh, yeah. It happened in Corona many years ago. We call it the Great Exodus.
People
they
just
increased our school fees, the Corona Secondary School, to 90,000 then. Like, let's just say like 60, everybody's, what? People started leaving because of the Great Exodus. People just left. Only a handful of people came back that particular, because it was that.
But people came back because they rebranded.
I mean, very many years after.
I remember somebody who lived in Iba, and her mom and herself, they were coming all the way to Baghdad to school in Corona.
Let's talk about books.
Okay, we'll come. So that's going to break. When we come back, we'll talk about the part of the fault of the schools, because now I know we talked about what parents can do, but the school, how can they ensure that even their increment doesn't hurt their parents and then lose customers? Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for calling, staying with us. Now, we're going to be talking about this increase in school bus fees and the astronomical increments across board for school books, uniforms. Oh, my goodness. School uniform just went double. But first, I have Toki on the phone line. Good morning, Toki. Thanks for calling.
Yeah, good morning.
You're live.
How are you? Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, quickly, 2 things. One, I want to welcome, I think I should give it back to Nima.
Nima?
I've not seen her.
Yeah.
I've not seen her for the past 1 month.
Try 4 months, 5 months.
Yeah, the second one is about this instrument. It affected the school. Yes, parents, the school. Let me tell you, because I have interest in school, and I have some friends. One, the school bus, we have 5. We have to sell all the 5 buses. We cannot run it. Because the cost of running a bus is more than the cost of the system. One tire of a school bus cost, it used to be 20, 25. Then now, depending on the bus, it is 40, 50, 60,000 naira. A school bus, you have a driver, you have what we call a motorbike, a conductor, or whatever. But without those two, you have to pay. So it is not profitable for any school to run a school bus, because it's a different service. It's not educational service. It's a transport business. Just like any other people that are running that or whatever. That is what you do. The only difference is that you have a register. Considering the fact that our roads are not too good as well, so it's not profitable to run it. It's a different ballgame altogether. If you are not in our school, you won't know. So that by the side. On the school fees increase, one of our sisters there said, did they increase the staff? No, there is no way you not increase the staff salary. It's not possible, including the teaching and non-teaching staff. It's not possible. A teacher that earns 80,000 naira, what do you expect him or her to do with 80,000 naira these days? So if you are increasing, are you increasing it to 100,000? Is that an increment? Definitely no. So that is it. It's not as if the school proprietor or proprietors, they are not in tune with reality with what is going on in Nigeria. They are all in tune with the reality.
Thank you so much, Toki. It was important for us to hear from the school owner also because...
Well, I agree with Toki to some extent that, you know, the school boss thing should not necessarily be business of the school. So, for instance, why do you want to make profit off of the school boss money? Why not outsource it? Because downfall see they run road.
But the outsourcing tool not to make money.
Not all downfall drivers increase their school fees. There's a school in Satellite, I don't want to mention because I don't have permission, that outsourced the bus system. Yeah. And my rewire driver opted to be driving children to school. It is his exclusive business and his exclusive profit to take them to school and back. And he ran to the extent that I begged him at some point to add my kids and help me drop them off.
But Nima, you have to understand the issue of safety. A school is responsible for the child that's coming to school. So I must be in charge of who is bringing my children to school, or taking them home. So it can't just be, I can't let any random person outsource it. But
when you say outsourcing, let me put it in perspective. When you say outsourcing, you're not giving a stranger the business. Somebody who has incorporated a business to do that business of transportation exclusively, he has rope under his bum. How do you say? Olokundi. He's not somebody you can vet him.
So now those people now might be more expensive, Nima, because the truth is that if I have a school
I'm running a business, I need to profit.
Yeah, so he also might be more expensive because he is also trying to be profitable.
You profit off school fees. You profit off uniform.
No.
Do the business of administration of school.
So you are going to be
transportation of school can be outsourced, and I have seen it work.
All right.
So you are going to be where I want to go. Should the school be profiting? Should schools be profiting off uniforms? Should schools be profiting off school books? Because your job is to render educational services and you're profiting from that. So why should I not buy, if my school uniform is a white shirt, why can't I get my white shirt and my children sew their white shirt, or I buy the white shirt and they come to school? Why should I have to buy the school uniform and then you customize the uniform in a way that we cannot get it outside and we must always buy from the school at a premium price? Because your business is not fashion designing, primary school. Your business is not selling of book sales. Your business is to give education. So the books should be affordable. I cannot see a book understanding mathematics in school for 5,000 naira and I will go outside and it's 3,500. Kuda, it's wrong. You should not be making that kind of profit off the book because you are getting it at wholesale price.
Let me talk for the school. The school is a business. We must establish that. Yes. And you have certain costs. If you are feeding your children, if you are paying salaries, your salaries, cleaners, the health people. So, you know, you have all these responsibilities in the schools. So when you are bringing your child, you are paying your school fees, yes, but you are forgetting that there are all other things that the school has to pay for. And I know this school, they were somewhere in Akoka. Lovely woman, she owned this school. And this was like 25 years ago. I knew this school. And when I went there to the school, you know, she was trying to build the school. She had built certain parts, secondary. She had no windows. The windows I sent to her. Use it for you answer the phone call. But do you know what? She couldn't do the road. Government refused to tar the road. It was in Nakoka. Do you know that she had to close down that school? Because everybody took their child out of that school.
Oh.
Can you imagine? My secretary, her kids were there. Every parent took their child and she had to close down.
All right, let me take this
government
kind
part
of things.
Let me come to Yusuf. Good morning, Yusuf. Are you there? Thanks for calling.
Yeah, hi, Morales. Good morning.
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 Yeah, this is the first time caller.
Welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I want to contribute to your today's topic. It's actually a very good topic. And let me share my experience. This is something that happened to me both yesterday and, of course, this morning. Yesterday, I have 5 girls to begin with. And of course, 2 are in secondary school, while the other 3 are in primary school. And so there have been these issues surrounding this kind. So I told the school that I'm going to remove my kids from that school because I can't afford the exorbitant school fees they have increased recently. So when I engaged the top proprietor, I'm lucky, he now has to give me a scholarship for the last 2 out of the 5 kids that we have.
Oh,
And
that's
of
so
course,
thoughtful.
Sorry?
I said that was thoughtful.
Yeah, definitely, yes. And so for the remaining
Yes,
3
scholarship.
kids now, he also gave me a 20% discount on each of their school fees.
That's a good school. So he has 5 kids, and he told the school he was withdrawing his children. So they gave him scholarship on the last 2 kids and gave him discount on the other 3 that he was
That's
paying
fantastic.
for within the same
You see,
school.
because
That's the school that is understanding.
understanding.
So I guess that's what we're really talking about.
We're getting
A
to the
school
point of-
that can understand the situation at
Must
hand.
it necessarily be a business venture?
Yes.
For the first time, when my daughter was going to secondary school, I got a book list. Before, it's the business of the school. So they'll tell you for books. They will not give you a book list per subject. And of course, like my parents, I went to market and bought 2 of the books because they sent a book list. And when they even paid for the books, they told us we have an outstanding for this amount because she came with the books already. And they told her, you can keep it with the bursary in case for next session you need new sets of books. It will cover the cost. And I have not received such a treatment before. How do you think I would feel? You can't treat this business exclusively as business. You can't put people who are bad administrators at your front desk. When a parent is talking to them, they are telling the parent she's nagging.
But it's a business, Nina.
But no,
So that's why it should
in
be-
business,
it should-
there's still the human face. I want to see somebody I can converse with. I want to see somebody I tell, oh, my child can't do 6 a.m., 5:30 to school because he will not be productive. By the time they get home at 5:30, they are already tired, they can't read. And then you tell me they are not academically sound. When you are taking the whole of the day from them and you are not running school for 8 years of that period, considering what I'm talking about. You are talking money all the time without listening to me. You're not giving me service.
So I think they can put the human face, but we must always remember that even if it's not a profit, they must.
They must maintain the school and cover their expenses.
Let me take this call from Shola. Come to you, okay. Morning, Shola. Thanks for calling.
Yeah, good morning, Mariah.
Morning.
Good morning, everyone in the studio.
Good morning.
This topic is very interesting. In fact, I thought of it this morning, this very topic. But one thing I want to say this morning is I disagree with YK. It's quite unfortunate we have seen education in this country as a business, which is not supposed to be, not out of passion again. I agree with Tokwe. Why should I be responsible after paying the school fee? Why should I be responsible to pay the cleaners' bill, to pay the security guard bill after you have billed me for the school fee? You see, one thing happened. They have a teacher that to get extra lesson in the school. We still pay for that. And if you decide not to allow your child to attend that lesson, it will tell in its results. I have the experience. I'm telling you, because my child is not partaking in that school lesson, I see the results in the outcome of the results, which is not supposed to be.
Right.
We have businessized everything about education in this country.
Thank you very much, Shola. But you see, again, we're going to go on a break because when we come back, education nowhere is free. Yeah. Private education in the first place is supposed to be is more expensive than public because really and truly, there's public school there. Public school is not saying don't come to me. They are there. But we chose to go to private schools. So when we come back, we'll discuss. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
What you charge?
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. Before I invite our guests, I have Akindoyin. Thanks for calling, Akindoyin. You're live.
Good morning.
Good morning. Go ahead, please.
Yes, I'd like to speak on the topic.
Yes.
The education, as it were today. Talking about the private schools. Can you hear me?
Yes, very clearly.
Okay. Now, I'd like to note that in life, cost is important. Even the Bible says, money is needed for everything, as the case may be. Even when you run your home lesson at home, you provide facility, light. You provide space.
Yeah.
And so if you have the home teacher who comes home, you are paying the home lesson alone, but you're already providing facility that will make the teaching convenient for you. Now I'm talking about the school. What is school fees for? It's just to pay salary for teachers. In everything you do in life, cost is inclusive. Just like even you working in TBC, you pay airtime. They fuel your car to get you to school. So it's not a question that why should I pay for the gate man? Why should I pay for electricity? There's rarely anything in life you don't pay for. And so we need to note this, that the schools are not talking about that I want to make money, profit in everything. But the cost is spread.
Yeah.
Don't forget in this very situation that we have, cost is increasing every day.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
So,
people are always trying to, teachers are also, schools are also trying to attract quality teachers. You can't just take any teacher because you want to be affordable.
And I agree with the academic part of it. There was a contribution I made earlier, and I would like you to address that part. We've discussed it.
Let me invite our guest. Maybe they can address that part. Our guest is the President, National Association of Proprietors of Private Schools, Chief Yomi Odubela. Welcome to the show, sir.
Excellent morning to you.
Excellent.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. So I'll let Tokwe start because she had a question she was going to
throw to you, sir.
Yeah.
So I wanted to find out from you, sir, why we've migrated from where primary schools, secondary schools used to just let you know the number of books you need, the number of notebooks you need. The school doesn't need to produce the notebooks in their names. The parents would go to the markets. My parents would go to Yaba or Ojuelegba and we buy the books and we bring to school. To the point where all the school books are unique looking books, exercise books are being paid for, uniforms are being paid for in school, and we're putting all those financial burden in a way that is not convenient for the parents to be able to say, I cannot afford this for now, let me find other solutions. Why are the schools doing this? Maybe you give me the backstory and help us understand.
Thank you so much for having me on this show to hear my view concerning the challenges we are all facing, having our children go to quality schools. First and foremost, we need to support the system to have a sustainable progress and growth in all the aspects of our educational sector. Publishers are having challenges in sustaining their intellectual properties and also sustaining the business through piracy. And this has led to the fact that the publishers had come up with an option of dealing directly with parents through the schools and leaving the bookshop out of it. You will recall that some time ago, some bookshops are picked by law enforcement agencies who are colliding with pirates to sell pirated copies of books. So to ensure that this is nipped in the bud, they collaborated with schools to ensure that they have the books produced directly from the publisher sold through the school system. In fact, you will agree with me that there are some books that you will see on their byline where you have something like, this book is not to be sold in bookshop. And it's not far-fetched from the challenges that we cannot deal with piracy in this country.
Right.
Secondly, you also want to know there are times when children, especially those at the nursery and primary school, will require additional learning materials that hitherto were not factored in from the beginning in terms of exercise books. Where a child exhausted the exercise book provided by parents, Lagos, for example, and any other busy states where parents are hardly available and cannot be reached for a good number of time. So schools have devised a means of providing support for these children by making materials available even when those materials suddenly got exhausted, or there are reasons to have additional material even when the remaining one is not totally exhausted. So this has necessitated the reason why some schools, not all anyway, had decided that all school needs will be provided by the school. But we must address the situation where some schools are now hiding under this to extort parents. This is not ethical and not acceptable. There are going price for books in the market, especially the exercise books. And when books sold by the school is now becoming higher than what is obtainable in the open market, then we expect the PTA, the Parent Teachers Association arm of school system, to come to become active in this regards and discuss these issues if it arises in any of private schools. Our association, National Association of Operators of Private Schools, also is also available to assist parents who are having challenges with schools who are hiding under this to extort them. Okay, because you are providing branded book, as a matter of fact, you should make it more available and more cheaper than what the market price is giving.
All right, let me ask you something concerning this school fees increase that many parents are complaining about. Are there specific parameters that schools are supposed to use to increase school fees? How does a parent know that they're not being arbitrarily increased?
The only parameter factor that determines the cost of the worth of any school is the basic economic principles of demand and supply. And thank governments for allowing as many private investors as possible that want to invest genuinely in quality education. Because of the free entry and the free exit, it has made it almost impossible for any school to just indiscriminately increase school fees, because there are so many competition out there. And I want to say here with all emphasis and research-based evidence that a good number of schools are running beyond their worth because of the keen competition. To pay the overhead staff and maintain the school facilities, knowing that children will be children, even when there are laws in place. And the ability to maintain this facility requires a whole lot of fund. An average school owners will agree with me that to maintain this facility and pay the overhead is much more beyond what is the revenue of an average school. And for some schools, they have done well by carrying along the PTA association and making them into the know of how the school is being run. I have a fact that an average teacher now cannot earn below 100,000 naira in Lagos suburb, where we have in the Eyebrow area, teachers are requesting from 180 to 250 as take-home salary. This does not include allowances and bonuses. For any schools that is an approved school, and please, I am discussing here basically on the fact that I am sitting on the executive position of approved private schools. For any approved private schools, there are some standards you need to put in place that will meet the approval criteria, and these come with a whole lot of cost. And when you get the approval, it doesn't end there. You need to continue to maintain and support the minimum standard by putting the facility in place and adding more to it on every term basis. This comes with a cost also, and this has made the running of private school
okay.
a bit expensive.
Let me get a few questions for you. Go ahead, man.
Okay, so just before you joined the show, I was talking about outsourcing certain other businesses attached to, the delivery of good education by the private schools, especially transport, for instance. Is it possible? Have you seen it amongst your members where a school outsources its transportation business to a proper transport company and faces the business of education? And how has that been effective?
Please, I want to be sure that I get your question right. Were you asking that why have we not looked into outsourcing transport system? And if there are any members that have done that, is it effective? Is that the question, please?
Yes.
All right. There is no transport system that we want to go into running of school. I want to clarify a point here. Anyone that is involved in investing in education system in Nigeria is doing so because of two things. One, passion for education, and running the school more or less like non-profit organization. I am saying this because I have run school for over 25 years, and I compare this with other investments that I have and that my friends and family belong to. I have seen that the return on investment of school is virtually less than 5% per annum compared to what other people who invest in other trading and businesses achieve. So a transportation company who will want to replace their buses within 4 to 5 years will not go into school business. Imagine if you charge a child for 150,000 naira for an 18-seater bus, that will be giving you an average of less than 3 million naira per term. And by the time you calculate the cost of fueling, even when the hike in pump price are now setting, and you pay the driver and you maintain the buses, you will know that even if you collect this fee for the next 10 years, you will not break even in replacing such buses. So some of us, including my humble self, had tried partnering with transportation company to take the stress of running school bus away, but it has not been profitable and it has not been sustainable for those transport companies.
So just a moment, sir. I said this because Shortless was on the show here, and what she offers, the lady and I think two of them set up a company where they offer transport services to companies. And Shortless drove past me the other day before I had to go off the show. On Badagry Expressway on our way to on the way to Agbara in a coaster bus. It's possible for people who know the business of transport to do transport business while schools face.
Well, we don't know if she's profitable for her yet because she's probably just training. So I'm just a bit, for now, she just started. So what he's saying is that somebody who has done it for over 25 years saying like, because you might do it, but it might not be profitable.
When he was talking, I'm not sure how many.
Mariah, please, I can't hear what you're saying, please.
Okay, 1 second. We'll come to you, sir. Go ahead to work here.
I did the maths on my calculator. If it's 150 per term, divided by 200 days, let's say they spend 200 days in school, that's per day is 750. So that means you're paying 750 naira a day for your child's transportation, which I don't think is astronomical when we really look at it realistically.
Because we're paying it in bulk, that it looks like it.
Yes, because you're paying it in bulk, so it looks huge. But I was going to ask, you said...
Chief Odubela, the question is for you, sir.
Yeah, the school it's not a profit-making business. How do you convince parents now that, because most parents, I'm sitting here with all of them, and they're all thinking, all these schools are making money off us, they're so expensive, they're so expensive. How do you convince them that, no, we are giving you value for money? Because I don't think they are convinced. So somebody even called and said, I'm siding the schools. I'm not really siding the schools. Luckily, I don't come out that.
Okay.
I'm no longer their customer.
I'm not.
Go ahead, sir.
I said earlier on that there is a need to have effective parent-teacher association in all the schools. As a matter of policy, it is compulsory, mandatory, and statutory that all schools must run an effective parent-teacher association to be headed by one of the parents and to have some of the staff of the school to be among their, the executive, while other parents also join in the executive member. During this forum, there is always opportunity to express feelings like this. And I have seen schools who are doing greatly, schools who are meeting parents and exceeding their expectation, doing wonders with the children because parents are fully involved. There is no way you can have quality education when you don't run an inclusive education. And running an inclusive education means that parents also have to be part of the school system. In fact, they are major stakeholders. And when a school board or proprietor could put the parent first in decision making, it has always been awesome for both parties, not in terms of the outcome of the children alone, but also in transparency. So to confirm whether school is running profitably or not, sooner or later, school who refuses to carry parents along often run out of business because they may think they are smarter, but at the end of the day, parents tend not to understand the fact that school business is not profit-making business. And they won't agree when there is a need for review of school fee. But where parents are carried along effectively, there have always been a meeting point when cards are laid on the table and parents can see things themselves.
Sir, in a situation whereby parents are not happy, maybe they feel that the school is not carrying them along, just like from what you just said, is there a body they can report to? I mean, is that what your own private schools proprietors association is for? Can they come to you to complain?
Yes, I will drop our website right away. I will also drop an email. Then I could also drop some official number that parents can send only WhatsApp message or SMS or email to. Calls are not allowed. But if you have registered as a parent under our website, then you will have been attached to people, to representatives in each state, if possible in a local government, where you can now make direct call because you are a stakeholder in National Association of Proprietors of Private School. Where you have not registered as a stakeholder, then you can only send message until your registration is done fully. And what it takes you to register is just to provide evidence of a government-issued identity card and provide an evidence of an ID card issued by the school your child is attending. And that is all. It comes at no cost. It is free. There we can get feedback and engage members and do sensitization on issues that are bordering on quality and sustainability of education in Nigeria.
You said something
one
earlier.
One of the numbers is, could I go ahead?
Oh, okay, yeah, you said something earlier, which, don't worry, when people go to your website to get the numbers, you didn't pay for marketing today. There was something you said earlier I thought was important. You said you are only part of approved schools. Now, how does a parent know which schools are approved or not? Because everywhere, private school, international schools are like pure water. Every clinical XYZ international school, ABC international school, everybody is international school. How do we know which one is actually approved by government?
Like I have said earlier on, every school that are running in the country, in any state of the country, must, as a matter of government policy, seek recognition first and foremost of the government and move to get approval of the school. When you are commencing the school, it is not always mandatory that approval must come before you start the school. You put structure in place, you put requirements in place, and approach government that you want to commence a school, then they will issue a letter, a name search to you to know that you exist where you are. And that is basically for safety of children in that building and in the hands of the professional in that building. Then you will commence the process of registration immediately which many a times is dependent on how far you can put the requirements by each state government into the school, then you get your approval. Now, when you get approval, it is easier for parents to trace you, whether you are not approved or you are approved, and how. I have just mentioned that in our website, parents can visit us and see lists of approved schools. And you can also register to confirm whether this approval is still valid.
Active,
because at times we see schools that have been disapproved or deregistered and still running. Then secondly, there is a department in all states of the Federation called the Quality Assurance Department in Education. That department also attends to parent requirement. There is a website you can go in that also that you can see lists of approved schools. Thirdly, there is what we call on-the-spot check. When a parent wants to register in any given school, you have the right to demand to see the approval letter of the school. In some schools, it is hung where it is visible within the reception or head teacher's or principal's office. In some schools, you demand for it, they show it to you. And this you can confirm from the government and our association, like I have said earlier on. This is the fastest way parents can confirm if a school is approved or not approved.
All right. Chief, earlier you mentioned that teachers get a certain salary for schools outside the center of Lagos and a certain amount for schools within the center of Lagos. From experience, I have seen some of the best teachers leave schools at the end of the term, grunted because of, payments. Is there a way you regulate? Is it possible? Because it's a capitalist system. If it's a business and profit is only what they think about. Do you regulate the welfare of teachers within private schools? And
Yes, thank you for bringing this question. I am aware that it will be unethical for me to be mentioning the website. So viewers, please pardon me that I won't be able to mention
we're allowing you.
My
producer has said you can go ahead and mention the website because it's for public awareness. So go ahead. And since it's free, go ahead. You can tell us the website.
Okay, it's www.napps.ng.com.
Okay. Okay.
napps.ng.com. That's the website. You can see our email, info@naps.ng.com. Okay. And you can see numbers you can chat with.
Okay.
And there is also, you can send your message to 08033205357. I take that again, 08033205357. You can reach us on WhatsApp or SMS. Then we'll put you through on how to register. Once you register, then we can attach an officer for.
Oh. Is it gone? I just wanted to. My former teacher, who is a proprietress, who owns a school, has sent me this text. She says, even Lagos. Okay, it's still there.
Sorry, it was freezing. We didn't hear you, sir.
In the
Hello, we lost you for a minute, sir. We're trying to get you back. Go ahead, Wike. Let me let you read.
She says even Lagos State is not helping. They charge schools for everything, e.g., radio and television fees were increased from 50K to 200K. This is the tip of the iceberg. Loma increased from 15K to 60K. She said some of my colleagues have had to close down. She says the television we use is used to teach the children. And please do not mention my name.
While we're trying to get our guests back, let me also read another comment from somebody else here. I don't have the person's name. It says, parents have the choice of schools they can take their children to. If people can't afford a particular school, they should take their children to other more affordable schools. In my own school, when the fees were increased, people left in droves because they couldn't afford it. Most proprietors are passionate about their school, and funds should be available to make the necessary investment to maintain standards. Ultimately, private schools are businesses and must maintain their standards in order to recruit more students. So that's another different perspective.
Also, this issue of books, when we went to secondary
school... he's back.
Okay. I wanted to ask him a question.
Okay, I'll come back to you, Nima. Hello, sir, are you there? Hello, sir. We don't have him back. Go ahead.
Okay, so
Yeah, with us? Are you there?
Yeah, they are not.
I'm with you, please. Go ahead,
Okay,
please.
Tope had a question for you. Let me ask a question.
Okay, so, sir, you mentioned that it's not all schools that are going to, that is not, registration is not a requirement for schools. And we have many schools that are not registered, and they have loads of Nigerians in those schools. We have, Mariah when she, always informed us during our time with the education in Lagos, Ministry of Lagos, is that the biggest problem we have with the educational sector are the low-income primary schools, the low-income secondary school, low-income primary schools. And they have a lot of children there, and there are no checks. So I wanted to find out from you, what's your body doing to provide a bit of guidance and support for low-income primary and secondary school that are being patronized by majority, actually, of Lagosians, of Nigerians, that would help them to also get a bit of good quality even while they are considering the cost?
Hello,
Did you hear me?
I think it's...
Oh, yeah. Hello, sir. Did you get that? Okay, I think we're having technical issues.
So sad.
I was going to make the point of books. So I went to command, and then in school, when it was resumption time, we're giving our books. The school's business was to find a way to reach the writers of the books they wanted, strike a deal that reduces the school fees. That's not what we see now. The cost of books. And ensure that the standard of education they wanted to give to the students was met. Parents were not dying because of the cost of the books. Now, schools will print the exercise books with the brand of the school on it. They will print the communication book with the brand. They are taking over every business of it, not necessarily concerned about the education. The school that gave a list of books gave the Lagos State standard curriculum list of books for secondary school.
But you answered that question already.
No, he answered the question. He talked about them, writers trying to fight piracy with it. And I'm saying, who is doing it for the public schools? And the government is still the one setting the standard of education. If the government is setting the standard, why is the government not in the business of providing the books and ensuring...
Let me speak for public schools. Me, I can speak for Lagos State public schools. All their books are provided by government, 150%. Every single book, the learning materials, the activity books, the textbook, every single thing is because... And they are being printed at LSP, Lagos State Printing Press here. You go there, so it's a fully
subsidized rate.
It's not the same by force that you must send your child to a private school.
What's the name of this? General maths. General maths that we use.
You cannot say that.
Excuse me. Let me just say something, Nima. Let me say something. For the past 5 years, we have been holding schools debates for celebration. For the, more than what am I saying? 5 years, maybe 10 years. Yes. I'm just off the. But in the last 5 years, which schools have won?
The Lagos State
schools have won.
Yeah, I've judged it for the past 5 years.
They have won every single debate.
And why, in addition to that,
not private schools.
I have data.
So what are we saying?
I have data.
Private schools come with
I have data to show that many of these the lower income Lagosians have started moving their children to public schools in Lagos because they're teaching them much better. The primary schools in Lagos, their standards have improved tremendously because of how they've trained their teachers in technology. And they're using this to teach their children. So many of these schools are not well regulated. That Yasikira primary school, international primary school, they're just opening left and center, opening their living rooms, opening their backyard, just because there was an issue in the public school. But what Lagos is trying to do now, like that, all of you now, you don't need to take your children to those schools anymore. Our schools are now up to standard. Take your children to the Lagos State public schools. I'm speaking about the primary schools, 100%. Not secondary schools.
We also talk about nearness to the house.
Yes.
Nearness.
We need to talk about
those schools need to come up.
Yes.
We
need more schools.
Even at that, right from time, we used to people. Oh, okay. Are you there?
No, the internet is going back and forth, sir. We can't hear you. Are you there?
Okay. Oh, I asked the question. We had this conversation. People used to walk a long distance to their school, and that was okay. Yes. But the Lagos State has done an upgrade in their school. I know that Edo State too did upgrade. But even those upgrade, there are now conditions before you can get into the school. So not everybody will be able to meet those conditions. Some people want to go to school, but they are not Lagos State registered. Right. They don't pay taxes, so they will not get into public schools.
Unfortunately, we have to wrap up. We have another segment, it's Healthy Tuesday. We have a doctor coming in for a second, so please, we have to wrap up. But it's obviously a conversation we need to continue to have. Hopefully have a part 2 of this soon. Let's go on a break. When we come back, we'll talk about our health segment. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. Join us on the show to speak on fertility in Nigeria, focusing on factors that impact women's reproductive health. He's a gynecologist and obstetric consultant, Dr. Joe Khalifa. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone.
So you're practicing OBGYN in Lagos,
Yes.
Nigeria. Tell us a few things about infertility in Nigeria. What do you think causes most of the infertility we see around?
Do you know fertility is a broad, infertility is a broad subject.
Certainly.
So you have to start from the challenges that the couple faces, the woman and the man also, because you know the infertility could be caused by female problems and male problems. So we have to start by the challenges. The couples faces many challenges. Some of them are financial, and the most important are emotional challenges. Okay, because you know, emotionally you have the family pushing the couple to get pregnant and have a baby and putting pressure on them. And financially, you know, all the treatments, infertility treatment are very costly these days. So they have to put and spend a lot of money.
So one of the things that is prevalent here is that when we talk about infertility, we talk about women.
No, it's
We
not
don't
true.
bother about men. So,
It's not
for
true.
instance, where a couple is trying to have a child and the woman keeps losing her babies, they just argue that something is wrong with her. Is there a possibility that, there's something wrong with the man and what he's bringing in to form that
Exactly.
baby?
You know, when a woman loses a baby, it's not infertility, it's recurrent pregnancy loss. Okay, so it's another subject completely. And this problem is also caused by, the cause could be due to the female or to the male. But let's talk about infertility now and focus on this subject. The infertility is 50% female causes and 50% male causes. Okay, but the problem is that socially everybody believes that the problem is always with the lady. In fact, the problem, most of the times, not most of the times, in 30 to 40% of cases, the problem is with the male. Okay, you know, there are many factors that affect the sperm quality. This could lead to infertility. For example, like lifestyle problems like smoking, alcohol consumption, obesity, infections. All of these can affect the sperm of the male. So this could lead to infertility.
What would you say for, like, there are couples who want like 3, 4 children. After 2 children, they can't get pregnant again. What? I know someone who has actually gone for an infertility test now because she has 2 kids. She wants another one, and she's not getting pregnant. In fact, when she even got pregnant, she lost the baby maybe 1 or 2 months.
Secondary infertility.
Yes, this is what we call secondary infertility. Okay, and we're seeing a lot of secondary infertility these days. This could be due to a lot of causes, mainly lifestyle modifications, lifestyle changes, our diet, our daily behavior of the female and the male also. And like I was talking previously, the male factor also plays a role. You know that the spermatogenesis in males changes every 3 months. So, for example, a male can do a sperm test today and he has a perfect sperm results, and he can do it after 3 months and the sperm is very bad. But yes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
But this can be corrected spontaneously. It depends on the modifications It depends on the modifications, diet, lifestyles. And of course, there are a lot of new now in the market vitamins that could boost the sperm. And even there are vitamins that could boost the quality of the eggs.
I was going to, because of time, I was going to come to the solutions we have for fertility in this country right now. What are the kind of solutions that has been offered on the table for women and men?
Okay. For men, like I said, there are new vitamins in the market that can enhance the sperm quality and the sperm count. Of course, and if there is any infection in the sperm, we can treat it by antibiotics. For females, for example, also because there are many causes for female infertility. I will focus on the ovaries. I will not focus on the uterus. We can talk about it later. Concerning the ovaries, to enhance the quality of the eggs and the maturity of the eggs and everything, also there are vitamins. But what I noticed from my practice here in Nigeria and in some countries also, that infertile women and couples, they don't seek medical advice before they are biologically old. What do I mean by biologically old? I insist on biologically. Biologically old is women above 40-year-old. They are actually young, but biologically the ovaries start to decrease its function.
Okay.
So they don't go to the doctors before they are above 40. And this is a big problem and a big struggle for them and for us, because the quality of the eggs will be very bad, reduced, of course, and the egg count also will be reduced. So we need to boost the thing, okay? So there are vitamins, like I said, and there is something, a new technique, and we are doing it here in Lagos. It's called the ovarian rejuvenation. So we can rejuvenate the tissue of the ovaries and give chance to this ovary to rejuvenate again and produce new eggs and better quality eggs, and increase the chance of this lady to conceive from her own eggs.
Fantastic.
Okay, so you've mentioned one of the biggest challenge is that people wait because we are a religious society. Many people want to pray and wait on God before they would now consider getting medical attention, and sometimes it might be late. But there's also the cost factor. The reason many people go into the prayer zone is not because, they just want to believe in God. It's because when they go to the hospital, they can't afford the treatments. Exactly. And so they would rather just say, God, do the miracle than me looking for the money. How affordable are these new vitamins, the ovary rejuvenation, the vitamins that would rejuvenate the... How affordable are they?
I started our interview with the financial challenge that the couples might face.
Yeah.
Okay, so they are costly. I'm being frank with you, they are costly. The vitamins are very costly. But this technique is not very costly, the ovarian rejuvenation.
Okay.
Okay? And just to let you know, this technique is a very new techniques in the world. They are starting to using it 6 months ago or about 1 year ago.
In Nigeria.
Yes. Already, I'm doing it. Okay. And all the studies are very promising.
What's the success rate like for those listening?
Ovary
Sometimes it's not about money. You're sure that this will work.
There is nothing in medicine 100%, okay? Let us be clear to start with.
Okay.
And even if any couple present to the IVF, the success rate is maximum 50%, and not more than this, okay? And every couple should know this before starting any treatment. Okay, but this success rate will decrease with age, because age is an important factor.
So at what age do you think a woman or a man should come to see a doctor, especially when they've never given birth before? What age should I start knowing a gynecologist and monitoring my ovaries and all that?
Okay, let me tell you, the definition of infertility is a regular intercourse between the couple for 1 year without conceiving. Okay. So whenever the couple is trying to is having a regular intercourse for 1 year, for more than 12 months without conceiving, they should go and seek medical advice, even if they are young. This is by definition infertility.
So I know of a case because I volunteer for organizations that deal with infertility, and one of the things that I heard was the fact that people, if people that are getting married that matured couples, like you're getting married in your 40s, even right from, don't wait until 1 year. Once as you're getting married, just go straight to consult your gynecologist to check everything. Do you see people applying that level of knowledge, or you still feel like people tend to wait before they show up?
You're exactly correct what you said. If a couple get married at a matured age above 40, they should directly seek medical advice and do some tests, run some tests, because they don't have time to lose and waste time, okay? So they have to go directly to the doctor.
We might have to bring you back to go in depth into infertility because of time. But many of our Nigerian doctors are leaving the country. Why are you here in Nigeria? What are you doing?
Why are you bringing this new technology to Nigeria?
Not technology. What are you doing here, practicing medicine in Nigeria? They are leaving.
Look, I believe that this country and these people deserve the better medical services.
Okay, you are making money. You are making money.
How long have you been here?
Around 8 months.
8 months?
Oh, yes.
Oh, wow. So you're still new.
But let me tell you something. Yes, I'm here and I'm still practicing abroad, okay?
Okay.
Okay, we are here a team of medical doctors that comes and go every time there is one of us.
That's
oh,
okay.
So you're visiting?
Yes, we're a group of doctors, Nigerians and expat doctors. We're doing a medical team, and we work together.
Oh, wow. That's good. Good to have your... So you're here for a few, and then you'll be going back again very soon?
Yes, I come every month for like 10 days, and then another doctor comes.
Okay, just checking. All right, good.
And of course, there are our fellow doctors, Nigerians, that work with us.
Oh, certainly.
We're one team.
Oh, great. So finally, Fertility, Nima Waike, want to have a final question?
Yeah,
I know this young, well, she's young, she's in her early 40s, and she's getting married to someone who is in his maybe later 40s.
Okay.
And they want to start IVF. They want to get married next year. They want to start IVF immediately. Do you think that they have a good chance?
Like I told you, after 40, the chances decreases. So she should run some tests. We should know and do a transvaginal scan to know her ovarian reserve and run some blood tests. And accordingly, we can evaluate her case and know her chances of conceiving. Of course, her chances are not very high, but sometimes she needs to take vitamins. Maybe if her ovaries are really not functioning very well, maybe she's a candidate for the ovarian rejuvenation before...
Can you give us food?
Recommend for the husband, because she mentioned the couple.
Okay. For the husband, I recommend that he do a spermogram, sperm test, just to see if everything is normal, he can continue his life normally. If it's not normal, we can try to fix it. If he's a smoker, he has to stop. If he drinks alcohol, he has to stop. If he's obese, he has to lose weight.
Sugar.
Diabetes, yes, diabetes, I'm saying. If he's diabetic, he needs to control his diabetes in order to have a good sperm count.
But does sugar decrease the sperm count?
It affects not really the sperm count, it affects the sperm in general, the motility and everything.
Okay, we have to wrap up, unfortunately. We're running out of time, but as I said, we'd like to have you and the other doctors at some point come again, give us some suggestions on this. So you're all the gynecologists, all of you, or different expertise?
No, we are gynecologists, all of us.
All of you are gynecologists?
Yes.
Oh, great. So it was a good time. It would be nice to have people come see you. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
That is all we can take on today's show. Hope you learned a few things as we have. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.